Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Chase, aka That Gay Jedi, and welcome to another video. Or if you're new here, welcome to my channel where we talk about Star Wars things and Marvel things and Stranger Things things. And right now, we need to talk about one thing that has been fascinating to watch unfold over the past few months. Basically, if you don't know, the Disney's Galactic Starcruiser is a 2-day, 2-night immersive Star Wars hotel storytelling experience that recently launched its maiden voyage. And a week before, at the end of February, they had sort of like a press preview where they invited a bunch of like YouTubers, like social media people, Lucasfilm people, Disney people to just come experience the Star Cruiser for free. And a lot of people got to like film it and like put it online. So we've all of us have been able to like kind of see what it's about and get a look into what they're offering for the prices they're offering. And I don't know, this whole thing has been so wild. It's been a lot to watch unfold. There's been a lot of contention about it online. And honestly, I feel like people either like praise it to a fault and like just kind of go really hard defending it and loving it and praising it and like way positive about it. And first of all, of course you can be positive, and I love that. But I have found that people are either only positive or only negative about it and just like hating on it and like dogpiling on it just to like hate on it, and because like hate gets clicks on the internet. So let me be the middle ground. Let us be the middle ground, because there's a lot to be said about the Star Cruiser. I think there is stuff that works about it, and I think there's a lot of stuff that doesn't work about it, and a lot of it sort of exists in this sort of gray area for me. And I think that like my friends, Maddie, Blake, and Sarah, shout out, we've been like having a group text about this as vlogs have come out, because I find it so interesting, you guys. I find it so interesting just to like watch and like commentate on and talk about. Maybe that's like the theater kid in me jumping out, or the Star Wars fan and the marrying of those two. But we're here to process. We're here to be somewhere in the middle. And I hope you enjoy this sort of rundown. So to clarify, in case you did not read the title of this video, I did not go on the Galactic Starcruiser. I am just listen, I don't know what I am, but I just watched videos on it. You know, I've been watching videos on it. I've been thinking a lot about it. I've been texting a lot about it. And I have a lot of opinions on it. And so I thought it'd be a nice way to sort of talk about it. I first was going to structure the video as like things that I loved and things that I didn't love, but that didn't end up working. And I think the way we're going to do is we're just going to kind of like walk through the experience, and I'm just going to comment on things as we move through it. I'm also going to be referencing a lot of vlogs by Ordinary Adventures, because I love Peter and Kitra and I love Ordinary Adventures. So anyways, one more thing is that there will be spoilers. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things that happen on the ship, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of images and videos of things happening on the ship. So if you don't want to be spoiled for this experience, definitely don't watch this video. And yeah, hey, let's get started. Let's board this cruiser. Yippee! Okay, so before you even get there, you got to book the trip, right? And it's going to cost a lot of money. And I'm not going to get into the specifics about that. I'm not even going to break down the prices. You can Google those, but chances are you already know it's quite expensive. Again, I don't really want to comment on like if it's worth it or not. I think it depends on so many things. I do find it a little bit ironic that they say that this experience is for Star Wars fans, but only like a select group of Star Wars fans can, afford it immediately. I think a lot of people, maybe some people will be able to like afford it, after saving up for a long time, but I don't know. I'm not going to really comment on like the money aspect, but the discourse around the price of the Galactic Starcruiser has been like pretty baffling. A lot of those YouTubers and social media people who went for free, they come out of that experience and they're like, wow, like that was amazing. And I love that for them. I'm happy for them. But then they'll be like, it's totally worth the price, you guys. Like everyone just know, like, I know it's expensive, but it's worth the price. And I'm like, you don't get to say that. You went for free. You had no skin in the game. All you had to do was fly out to Florida, and they put you on this experience and treated you like royalty. And they're like, hey, like, here's this fun free experience. If I went for free, I would live. But if I paid, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, the stakes would be a little bit different. And I think my entitlement over that barometer of fun would be very different. So let's if you went for free, maybe don't comment on if it's worth it or not. Also, there's been a lot of like Disney execs and people who have worked on the project say things like, they'll be like, Disney has a lot of like offerings at a lot of different price points, and this price point might not be for everyone, and that's okay. And I'm like, I just don't know if that's like, I don't know if that's the message we want to be sending out. It just feels very weird. It feels very elitist. It feels like a weird thing to normalize that like most people won't be able to afford this. I don't know. I don't know. Again, that's all I'll kind of say about the money aspect of it. I'll talk a little bit at the end, like if I find it worth it to go and if I would go, but we'll get to that at the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get started on the whole adventure. So you start out checking in at the Earth-based terminal, right? First of all, gorgeous exterior. I love the Galactic Starcruiser sign. Everyone's costumes and uniforms are perfect. And then you board your launch pod that takes you up to the Galactic Starcruiser, which honestly is pretty lit. It's everything that I wanted it to be. I've heard that it moves a little bit, which is nice. You get some cool views of like space being launched around you while you're docking into the Starcruiser. So like that's really cool. It doesn't last very long, but it's still a really cool way to sort of like get started on this and like kind of throw you into the story. And then you check into your rooms. So let's talk about the rooms for a second. I really like the concept of them and I like the way they look, but after watching a lot of the vlogs, I do feel like they're very basic hotel rooms in a way that like might take away from the experience a little bit. Like they're just so pedestrian, they're so earthly, and just very sort of like, you know, basic hotel rooms, which I don't think is necessarily amazing considering the price. But I mean, you know, the aesthetic of them, they're gorgeous, they're fun. The spaceport window seems pretty cool. It's kind of hard to tell with a camera filming it. But yeah, I like the vibe. I like the beat. I also wanted to talk about the bathrooms for a second because they're definitely a little bit small, but more than that, Disney has like a soap line, like soap, sort of like a toiletries line in their resorts and cruise lines called H2O, like soap. They did something cool with that with the Starcruiser where they kept the H2O soap, but then like they write on it. It's like, oh, this is like a mask and it works for like all aliens and all species and stuff like that. But y'all, you couldn't just leave H2O out of this. Like you couldn't just leave your own, like, it's just such a shameless plug to have like your Disney branded soaps in the room. And for an experience that's like touting itself as like completely immersive and completely like sort of Star Wars canon, it does feel a little bit weird to be like filling that space with like Disney branded soaps. And I know I'm complaining about soap, but this experience costs so much money that I feel like I'm entitled to have an opinion of like the most minuscule things. Okay. I think that when there's this much money on the table, everything else is on the table too. But maybe that doesn't matter. You know, you don't spend a lot of time in your room. You just kind of like hang out in there, just like sleep, because you're very busy during the day. But I will say one thing that the hotel room does have that I think is like one of my favorite aspects of the entire Starcruiser experience is a concierge droid named, I think her name is D3. But basically like you can have like full conversations with her. She's like a very advanced Siri or like Amazon Alexa, where you can like talk to her and like really engage with her in conversation about like the going ons on the ship and like your plans and things like that, which I find like a really, really cool part of it. And I also find it very, very Star Wars to have like a concierge droid that's like checking in on you and asking you if you need anything. So that part is amazing. Love the concierge droid. Overall, the room, I don't know. The bathroom, The soap, no. The soap has got to go. That they need Star Wars branded soap. I don't know why they're doing H2O soap. Okay, I'll let it go. Let's move on to the dining room. Okay, so you can grab lunch, you know, on your first day in the dining room. And I got to say, the food is honestly probably one of the reasons why I would want to go to this. The food seems very, very creative. It seems very yummy, honestly. Okay, I know it's basic, but that grilled cheese looks so good. I'm also really relieved they didn't go like too molecular gastronomy with the food. Like I was worried it was just going to be like a bunch of like squares on a plate that like tastes like blueberry pie, but like, I don't know. I was expecting some like Willy Wonka shit with the food, and I'm glad they didn't give us that. It looks like they have some good food where you know what it is. It's quality food. It's of substance, but it's also like very creatively designed. So we love the food. And since I'm talking about the dining room, we might as well sort of like mention the way that the dining room is transformed for like their evening dinner show. And I gotta say, they knocked it out of the park with the way that the dining room transforms into sort of like a nightclub space with Gaia and Uwani, two of the characters aboard the ship, performing. Those two, listen, icons, legends, queens. They are one of the best parts of the ship, it seems like. One of the best parts of the experience. Super, super cool character designs. Very fun, very Star Wars, great talent. And I don't know if you all do this, but every once in a while, you know, I like to listen to Oga's Cantina's playlist from Disney's Galaxy's Edge. And a lot of those songs really slap. And it's a fun album to listen to. So when it comes to like a dinner show on this Starcruiser where you get to watch like two queens just go at it and sing these songs in different Star Wars languages and slay the game, I'm into it. And they did great. They did really great. I also should mention, I meant to put this at the top, and I already know someone's going to leave a comment, but I in no way am like coming for the people who worked on this ship. I am in no way coming for like the designers or the artists. First of all, I think the entire cast and crew is like incredibly talented, which I'll kind of get a little bit more to later. But yeah, when it comes to like design styles, listen, I'm not a designer. I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean all of this with peace and love. It's just my opinion. So respect to everyone who worked on this project, but I'm going to comment on it. So yes. Okay, also we have to go back to Uwani really quick because this freaking Rhodian keyboardist, pianist, musician person, you guys, not only is she fabulous, but she has one of the coolest features of this entire experience, which is this like Rhodian helmet, mask, headpiece that literally is able to articulate its eyes and its snout mouth. And that really, really is one of the coolest things. It's so cool to see that technology. Like, I want more of that. I want more of that in Galaxy's Edge. I honestly want more of that on the Starcruiser because Uwani is like, without a doubt, one of the most transportive parts of this experience. From what it looks like, I didn't go. I know those things are like expensive and probably like a lot to operate, but like, we could use more of that. So yeah, the whole cast honestly seems really, really kick-ass. You can tell how much all of them love what they're doing and how much like work they've put into it and how much they care for the guests, which is really, really awesome. I think that they carry this entire experience. I don't really have like that many bad things to say except for the captain's wig. I'm so sorry they put you in that wig. But outside of that, yeah, the cast does great. I honestly think that the Starcruiser would have been even more elevated, let's say, if they had more actors as regular guests, like not even like scripted roles or not even roles that have anything to do with the story. They're just like actors that are paid to go through the experience alongside the guests so that guests can become like friends with a Twi'lek or friends with, I don't know, a Mandalorian. Like that would be such a cool part of it if like there are a little bit more characters on the ground, right? So yeah, I mean, I know that costs money, but again, like with as much money as you're expected to put down, I would kind of want a little bit more in terms of immersiveness and characters. Like all the characters that are there, perfect, amazing. But could use a little bit more and a little bit more of that like Rhodian mask energy because that shit was awesome. You can also take like an onboard tour like to kind of learn about Chandrila Starline and the history of the Halcyon Starcruiser, which is really, really cool. It seems cute. Like it doesn't seem like anything groundbreaking. On the tour, they show you one of the rooms, which is the climate simulator, I think. Yeah, the climate simulator, which is basically your way of like getting fresh air and being outside without breaking the illusion of being on a Starcruiser. It's just like basically a ceilingless room that is like has like sort of like some plants on the wall, like a little rock formations. It's cool, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna lie, it would take a lot of imagination to pretend that it's a climate simulator with like nothing at the top supporting the idea that you're still in a ship that's in space that is simulating a climate because it's literally just open skies. So like it's cool. It's important. It's important that people have like a way to get fresh air. I can't imagine not being able to do that for 2 days and 2 nights. So yeah, it's cool. Takes a lot of imagination, but work. The engineering room is also, I think, a part of this tour. I'm not totally sure, but the engineering room is great. The engineering room feels the most Star Wars to me. We love the engineering room. Very cool, very fun. Little like puzzles you can do around the engineering room. Also the sublight lounge. I mean, any Star Wars cantina, I'm down, right? And they've had some experience making some Star Wars cantinas, and those things are amazing in Galaxy's Edge. So I feel like the sublight lounge on the Starcruiser is a pretty great part of the experience, albeit it's small. It's very small, but the drinks are awesome. The cocktails are awesome. It seems really fun, really happening. Music's cool, lighting's cool. So honestly, sublight lounge, catch me there. I mean, would I spend thousands of dollars to just hang out in a sublight lounge cantina and drinking? No, especially because alcohol isn't included. But if I went for free, that's where I'd be. Oh, also, I'm not going to spend aside from the finale, I'm not really going to spend that much time talking about the story that unfolds because that would take a lot of time. And I just don't find it honestly that compelling, but the way the story is incorporated between characters and amongst the guests is very cool. And at least during the press preview, they had a way to sort of remember everyone's names that were a part of the stories. And they were like, oh, shout out to my girl, Elizabeth, who helped me smuggle in Chewbacca. That stuff is really cool and really fun. And also, if I was a kid and I got a shout out from one of the characters on this immersive ship, I would be living. So yeah, again, the cast and crew knock it out of the park. But if you want the story, just go watch the vlogs. But it's a lot. It takes place between episodes 8 and 9, if you didn't know. That's all I have to say about it, honestly. So when it comes to the activities on the ship, it seems like you basically have two main activities, which is lightsaber training and bridge training. I mean, there's also sabacc, but the sabacc tournament and training, I mean, listen, if that it's cool. I don't know if I'd pay money to go do it, but it's cool. When it comes to the bridge training, it actually looks a lot cooler than I thought it was going to look. A lot of the promotional videos and photos were pretty bad, pretty poorly lit, and just didn't look great. I mean, it still doesn't look super Star Wars, but it looks so much better in these vlogs, and it actually looks so much more engaging. I love how everyone has different stations, and then they shuffle it around so you can try different parts of defense or offense on the ship. I think that's really cool. I think the screen works pretty well from what I see on the vlog. Again, it looks a lot better to me in the vlogs than the promotional stuff. So I was pretty surprised by that. I don't know if I have to do that, but it was really cool. It was really cool. I can't say the same for the lightsaber training. That did definitely look better in vlogs than it did in the promotional material, but it still looked pretty not that exciting. It looked a little bit boring. It looked a little bit more geared towards kids, which by the way, I just have to say, they market this towards families and kids, right? But not only is that insanely expensive, but a lot, if you're, I think the age requirement for lightsaber training is 7 years old. So if you're less than 7, you're not able to do that, which takes a whole experience that they use to sell this thing out of the equation. So you're paying more money for less things if you have kids under 7. I don't know. That's all I'll say about that. It's cute. It's fun. I like the story, but again, I don't feel like I have to do it as a Star Wars fan. And this is the issue, right? This is the thing that keeps coming up with the Starcruiser, is a lot of it is cool, but almost I can't even comment on it because it's not that cool or not that bad. A lot of the stuff the Starcruiser has to offer, for in my opinion, I watch online and I'm okay, that's cool, that's decent. I don't hate it, I don't love it, but because it's in that gray area, it's almost more maddening because the room, the possibilities with a project like this are huge. And I think that's why a lot of Star Wars fans are upset, aside from the fact that a lot of people can't afford this. I think that a lot of people are upset because this whole thing in theory worked so well. And it's so cool in theory. But the execution of it has been not perfect. It hasn't been perfect. So I just wish that if I was asked to spend this much money on something like this, I would be more oh, I have to do that lightsaber training. I have to experience working on the bridge. I have to do these things. But again, it lands somewhere in the middle for me. It lands very much in that gray area. And who knows, maybe they'll keep improving on this. Maybe they'll put money back into the Starcruiser and things will get cooler and maybe more nuanced, or maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's just not super motivating to pay that kind of price for me. So I guess now would be a good time to talk about the excursion that you take. I think it's on day 2, down to Batuu, or Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. To be honest, the Galaxy's Edge portion of this whole Starcruise experience from watching it was the most disappointing part of the entire thing. The actual shuttle, like the actual like space shuttle that you take from the Starcruiser down to Batuu is just a bus, which is fine. I don't expect you guys to fly us across the street. But there's no windows in the bus. Like there's no simulation that you're like flying down. There's a voiceover of a droid who's like driving the ship or the air shuttle. But again, like I would expect a little bit more. I know that people get motion sickness and you probably don't want to add screens, but I feel like there has to be a way, either have like that or an animatronic or something where you can really kind of experience the sensation of flying down from the Starcruiser to Batuu. I don't know. Again, it's kind of like asking a lot on the imagination from like adult consumers, I guess. Like, no, listen, I got a wild imagination. I have a great imagination, a fine imagination. And that being said, it would be hard for me to be like, oh, I'm not on a bus driving to a theme park right now. I'm in a shuttle. So I wish they did a little bit more with the shuttle, but more than anything, I wish they did more with the integration of like your time on Batuu and the Star Cruiser experience. Because from what I've seen in the vlogs I've watched, it really does feel like you're just kind of like plopped into Galaxy's Edge in the middle of a day with not a lot of tie-ins. You do get like complimentary like food and drink coupons, which is great. You get front of the line passes for the rides, but like even Peter from Ordinary Adventures was like, he was like talking about how he's like trying to talk to like Rey and Vi and these characters. He was talking about how like he tried to talk to them about like, what's going on in the story of the Starcruiser, and they didn't really know what was going on. And again, like if I'm paying primo dollar, I expect to go into Batuu and like have everyone know what I'm talking about. I expect the story to never get broken in the smallest of ways because that's what they're selling it as. They really do market it as like an all immersive experience. And this is like where a lot of that immersion is broken, not only because you're walking around with other tourists, but I don't expect them to empty out the park for the Starcruiser guests, but like at least like kind of have like the actors playing the other characters in the park, like understand what's going on. Maybe like there is one part, you know, when you're boarding Smuggler's Run, Hondo is like, oh, you guys are from like the fancy Starcruiser experience. Like, and that's really cool. Like more of that. You know, there's ways that you can stay engaged in Batuu in terms of your experience on the Starcruiser, like through your data pad, which is an app that's like on your smartphone. And that's honestly kind of another complaint. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to say, but if I'm paying that much money to go on a vacation, I don't know if I'd want to be like, I don't know if I'd want to be on my phone the whole time. I don't know if I'd want to like be like scanning cargo boxes and like doing things on my data pad and then get like a notification of things happening in the world, because I don't think I want to know what's going on in the world when I'm on the Starcruiser. I know it's tough because why not have people like use their phones, but also like, why not make little data pads? Why not make little like Palm Pilots, like very basic like 90s toy technology? A, it would look more Star Wars, and B, it would kind of keep that immersion, right? I could leave my cell phone in the hotel room and just like experience. I mean, I wouldn't because I need to take pictures, but I could put on airplane mode and require no internet or data and just kind of like vibe. That would be great. And another thing too that like Peter mentioned in Ordinary Adventures' vlog is if this is your first time going to Galaxy's Edge, he said he thought it might be like very overwhelming, which if I'm spending a lot of money like on this experience and it includes time to spend in the theme park, I would want to be able to like soak that up and not be rushed and also like experience everything that theme park has to offer, because it's not like I'm going to go on this $6,000 cruise and then book like a couple extra days at the resort and go to Galaxy's Edge. Like that would never happen. So yeah. Overall, the Batuu stuff seems to have missed the mark. I would probably go for the rides and use my coupons and then just go back to the ship, because ultimately that's like what I'm paying for. Yeah, I don't know. Finally, towards the end, the whole story builds up and there's a climactic battle between Rey and Kylo Ren. And honestly, all the finale stuff was really cool. The choreography was great. The story was cool. It was badass. There was the igniting of the lightsaber. There was force choking, force pulling, force pushing. There was a lot of like cool effects. There was a whole Phantom of the Opera like chandelier style drop on the atrium. Like all of that was really, really fun. I loved that. I don't have like a whole lot of complaints about that. Also, towards the end of the story, there's a literal holocron that opens by itself and projects a hologram of Yoda talking. And I gotta say, if I was there, I would be crying, because that was pretty magical to watch a holocron open on its own, playing some stored Yoda messages. I mean, that was incredible. Hats off to everyone who made that happen. But I don't know if everyone gets to experience that. And if I pay this much money for it, and I didn't get to see the holocron open on its own with Yoda talking to us, I would be really upset. Like, that's one of the coolest things. It's like the holocron, the live entertainment, Uwani's mask. I think those are like the coolest aspects of the ship so far. Is it worth the money? I don't know. But yeah, overall, gotta give it to them on the holocron, and the whole finale is pretty epic. Anyways, I hope this ramble made sense. Overall verdict on the Starcruiser, I think it's cool, but I hope it gets cooler over time. There are also like rumors that there were a lot of budget cuts at the start of the pandemic. I don't know if that rumor is true, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was true, because it feels like it's right under where it should be, in my opinion, for the price and just knowing like what Disney is able to do. And they do so much right. I hope I highlighted a lot of things they do right. Again, I want this to be sort of like a nuanced conversation about, hey, some things really work. Some things, they don't work. But anyway, I think it's cool. I think it'll get cooler over time. I think they'll probably implement a lot of more things into it after the early press preview, at least I hope. I also think that they might be investing more money into it, maybe, big maybe, after they start making money back on it. Maybe they'll put some of that money back into it so that they can kind of like develop things a little bit more and take things to that extra level. Regardless though, if whatever they end up doing, I would be more inclined to go after honestly the whole thing has just been around for a little bit longer. It's had time to work out the kinks. I think that's really, really important when it comes to like investing my money into that, if I ever were. But as it stands right now, I don't think I would go. I currently have no plans to go. But that being said, like if they like beef things up and it's just like looking real good, I do have a Disney credit card. I got some reward points I could throw out there, and I can save up, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Never say never. I mean, what Star Wars fan wouldn't want to go to this? Like, if everyone got invited for press day, I'm pretty sure everyone would go. Like, it's a fun idea. You know, who doesn't want to like just experience this like part of Star Wars, at least for a second? I just think that people don't want to pay that money. And I understand. I do not want to pay that money. But yeah, so I'd go for I'd go for the food, the live entertainment, that holocron, and just the good vibes, like the memories, like, and to vibe with my friends. Like, that's why I would go. I would only go for like a lot of the extra bells and whistles that they like sell. I like wouldn't go for lightsaber training. I would do it, but I wouldn't go for that. I wouldn't go for bridge training. Like, I would just kind of go to vibe and have a good time. So for me to like do that, I'd have to have that price lower, especially because like the hardest part about it is like, it is worth it. If you have a shit ton of money, girl, that is worth it. That is worth going. Go have fun. But like, when you think about like the thousands of dollars you'd spend on this experience versus like the thousands of dollars you could spend on an actual like luxury vacation that's outdoors and like a little bit more real life, that would be lit. Like that, it kind of, that's what it comes down to for me. I would rather spend my money on that. But enough about me, enough about my rotten opinions. What about you? What do you think about this? What have your thoughts been since the beginning? Have they changed over time? Have they changed since seeing the vlogs come out? Has anything I said resonated with you all? Let me know all of that information down below in the comments. I would really love to hear what you think. And yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel, because I would love to have you. So subscribe to the channel. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and may the force be with you always.